And still talking security, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC has arrested a 27-year-old fake soldier in Gombe. Parading the suspect, the NSCDC said Suleiman Rabiu, who has been parading himself as a military officer for the past 2 years, will be charged to court. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The 27-year-old Suleiman Rabiu is also being accused of torturing helpless civilians in Gombe metropolis. Speaking to newsmen, the suspected impersonator confessed to the crime.
I used to parade myself as a soldier everywhere. I told an officer that I was an army officer. I later retracted, but he investigated and confirmed I am an imposter.
The Gombe State Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, said the suspected army imposter was arrested following an intelligence report.
The other second one is, you see, he's wearing fika for the military, a military uniform, parading himself as a military officer. And time without numbers, they bring complaints to him, to us, and then after all, we arrested him. We do all our utmost, strength in order to bring sanity to this state, and then do all our possible, possibility, so that we'll now do and then abort crimes and then criminality in the state, so that people will sleep with their eyes closed.
The NSCDC also paraded some suspected vandals of telecom masts and internet fraudsters. The command said all the suspects will be arraigned in court for trial. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And away from crime and the police, experts have described street hawking by minors as a vivid picture of child neglect and exploitation by parents and agents who push young children into what has, for them, become a business for not only survival but for material gain. In this report, Trust TV Kabir Lal takes a look at the street hawking, especially between the ages of 8 and 15 in the Federal Capital Territory. The report.
The phenomenon of street hawking has considerably increased throughout the world and most especially in Nigeria. Every year, billions of individuals, mostly female, are forced to submit to servitude. In urban cities where the business is commonly believed to be poverty-motivated thrives, children and women, who are the major role players, face different risks, especially rape, accident, ritual activities, as well as loss of education opportunities. However, parents have been cautioned to desist from sending their word street hawking, as it is against the Child Rights Act, which has been domesticated in more than 30 states of the Federation.
The economic situation is really dwindling and is going down, and which is also contributing to making a lot of parents send their kids out on the street. But I would say on the part of the government, they really have a major role to play because they are the guardian of these children. If we have better laws in place that protects the Child Act and that has strict punishments to those who default these laws, I believe it can go a long way to curbing this issue.
However, parents decree the lack of employment and economic hardship as some of the reasons why they indulge their words in street hawking to be able to put food on the table. They made desperate plea to government to regulate the rising inflation currently in the country.
Kids should be in school. They shouldn't be seen hawking at about this time of the day. Even if they have to do it, it shouldn't be during school hours. Yeah, I understand this is summer, but I mean, the government should do something about it. Ensure kids go to school.
I think being government now develop interest in this Nigerians individual and creating job opportunity. All this one will not continue.
Government is at the center of it all because without the government, there's nothing the masses can do. Without a strong law in place, there's nothing that can be done. And then you see some children who are on the street. Some of them don't even have parents. How are such children supposed to survive? I feel like the government should make provision, maybe in its budget, that caters for such kids.
Some of the underage children that spoke to our correspondent said the economic situation of the country has made them come out to sell things on street, adding that most of the time their teachers are not available in the school.
My parents are not here, but I stay with my uncle,
and he has been of help to me. Most time our teachers in the village are not there when we're in school, which made it very difficult for us to learn. My parents are not rich. We have to keep food on the table for ourselves. And I have no option than to arm out and help my parents despite the economic situation. Street hawking is a universal phenomenon which requires urgent attention from all and sundry as it distorts child's development and government policies. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And as the world evolves away from the use of fossil fuels in line with the Paris Conference Agreement, the Director General of the Nigeria Automotive Design and Development Council, Jelani Aliu, says electric vehicles will help to further foster an eco-friendly environment in the country. He further added that these vehicles are now easy to use and technologically friendly, especially for young people. Christina Amodu has details.
The Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council, Jelani Aliu, has said that electric vehicles will help the country benefit from the gains of renewable and sustainable energy. He added that the innovation will help to foster an eco-friendly environment. Aliu disclosed this during a test drive session of the first assembled electric vehicle at the headquarters of Media Trust Limited in Abuja.
This is a significant milestone because it shows that Nigeria as a nation is committed to environmental protection. It will also allow us, like I mentioned earlier, meet the targets of the Paris Accord. It will also spur and expedite technology transfer. It looks advanced. Yes, it is advanced, but it's actually a whole lot simpler technology than a petrol or diesel powered vehicle. This would allow young Nigerians, the youth most especially, to really understand this technology and even come up with new solutions that would be even more advanced and more applicable for Nigeria and Africa.
The first locally assembled electric car was first launched in November 2020 by the Lagos State Governor. The electric car was regarded in the European motoring industry as the world's #1, and it cost 24 million naira. It is imperative to know that the material used to assemble the 100% electric and zero-emission car was mostly sourced locally. Christiana Amodu Otiya, Trust TV News.
Interesting report there from Christiana, and well, a certain kind of future awaits us in Nigeria. On the one hand, we seem to be spending billions and billions of naira prospecting on new oil wells in Nigeria. On the other hand, the world is fast moving away from fossil fuel, and whether we like it or not, at some point we may have so much of this fossil fuel resources, but very little demand.
Exactly.
So we have to move in the direction that the world is also
can we move in that direction?
I hope we will not get to a point where we have to import electricity or importing fuel, despite having the resources
to actually
generate as much as possible in-house. That is where we would draw the curtain on the reports and news highlights this morning. We'll take a short breather. When we return, we'll go into our discussion proper. Please stay with us.
Trust TV. documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and now we will be talking aviation. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, on Tuesday accused the Nigeria local airliners of deliberate attempt to cripple its operations. NCAA said the local airliners are owing it over $19 billion and $7.6 million on ticket charges that they have collected from passengers but have refused to remit to the authority. NCAA said the situation is crippling its finances and pitching the authority against the federal government of Nigeria. The NCAA Director General, Captain Musa Nuhu, stated this in Abuja at a stakeholders meeting with the airliners and aviation agencies. On ending crisis in the aviation industry, you may say, we have aviation and IT experts and Managing Director, Aviation Africa Platform, Dr. Frank Ugochukwu, joining us virtually from Lagos to share his thought this morning. Good morning, Dr. Ugochukwu.
Good morning.
Have you joined us this morning?
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
We have seen all kinds of crises rocking the Nigerian aviation sector. At one point, it was jet A1 fuel. Then we moved on to airlines finding it difficult to find forex to repatriate sales in Nigeria. That's talking about the foreign airline. Then, it has been one kind of crisis or the other until the recent disclosure by the NCAA that airline operators owe them somewhere in the tune of 25 billion naira from unremitted funds from ticket sales and all of that. And we have also seen the AON respond to say that the agencies are trying to criminalize them as aviation businesses are largely a credit-driven business, not a cash business. What do you make of all of this crisis coming from that sector in recent time?
All right, thank you very much for that one summary of what's happening in the aviation industry today. From where you stopped, they're saying that aviation is the cash and based business. Put this in perspective. When I buy it, I pay cash. I don't buy ticket on credit. Now, the NCA is talking about is charge. Go say those charge from where would the airline collect the money cash from passenger doing freight, cargo, and all that, and not remit that money back to NCA who actually didn't have that money. So actually, for me, it's baseless in the sense that TSC and CSC based transactions for the duty is an obligation for them to remit. It's not their money. TSC is paid by the passenger. Cargo sales charge is actually paid by sending cargo or freight. So they're just like an agency or for the CAA. They have no business holding back that money because daily sales every day. At the end of the day, they sales for the day. So they know what belongs to NCAA that they collect money on their behalf. So we need to put that in perspective because it's baseless.
And the AON failed to reach an understanding, and the NCAA actually carries out its threat and to sanction these airlines. Isn't that just making a bad situation even worse with the current situation of Nigerian aviation now?
Okay, so basically the issue of safety, economic regulation. An airline is not economically, then it's going to impact on safety and money. This issue about money. So why will it due? So that means there's a problem with the airline, really, in terms of cash flow and all of that. So why keep the money? So the point here is simple. operating uneconomically, NC by law. So those are flags, those are red signals, flags that are coming up right now. That keeping back the money does not belong to them. They need to remit that money. So for crashes to happen to do the right thing, the answer is no. So we need to aviation environment safe. That's what is critical. So they do their own part, comply with the regulations, so that they can actually safe flight for passengers.
Ogochukwu, talking about safe flight for passengers and the fact that you have also alluded that this is about cash flows. Do we completely wave away the reality that is confronting airline operators in Nigeria? I mean, within a single calendar year, we have seen aviation fuel move from 250 naira to about 800 naira per liter. We have seen how it has been very difficult to secure forex from the official window, especially as you know that the aviation business is completely dollarized, whether it is in terms of buying spare parts or taking these aircraft out for C checks and all of that, which then means that other than getting these dollars from the official window, they have to resort to the black market with a premium of over 200 to secure the money they need to keep up or keep pace with maintenance. Do we just wave aside the concerns that were raised by the AON in a bid to raise this money that are actually due to the government? How do we go about resolving this problem? We appear to have a bit of glitch there with network services. We would come back to you the moment Mr. Ogochukwu comes back online. We will take a short break. Okay, Mr. Ogochukwu, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you.
The point that in the face of the challenges that are confronting airline operators in Nigeria, like I said, the forex crisis particularly, because this is a business that is completely dollarized, whether you are taking aircraft out of the country for C checks or A checks, or you want to acquire spare parts, as the case may be, and all of that, you require dollars, much of which cannot be sourced from the official window, which means they seem to be going for the parallel market with a premium of over 200 naira from the official window. In the face of the question you raise on safety, can we wave away the concerns that have been put forward by the airline operators of Nigeria as the reasons why they seem to be running short on their obligations to the authorities?
So they have very valid concerns with regards to Jet A1 fuel pricing, forex issue, but that dates their actions in terms of keeping what belongs to them. Now in the industry today, we're solving it one by one, a basic view of the issues, and come on to actually, that we're facing today. I mean, it's we're having in our industry today. So is when the foreigners cried out, they can't represent their funds that Nigeria, of course, obligated to represent those funds, agreements and all that. So the issues are there. They that's the first. So CBN, we create this for them to be able to have access to carry out their maintenance and these checks and buy spare parts and all that. That CBN, the government actually needs to look at that issue and provide a special intervention for the foreign airlines to have access to dollar at the not black market rates. So we need to look at all the issues holistically, solve the problem. So we can't just take one out and just solve. Interim is important. They have access to foreign. Right now, capacity is dwindling.
Another
the basic test for.
Okay, Dr. Ogochukwu. Another issue that was raised that seemed to be eking a lot of Nigerians from that briefing by the NCAA is the fact that they have not raised fares or whatever they call charges in the last 13 years, and they are thinking of a review upwards. Given the challenges that is bedeviling that sector and how much the cost of a 1-hour flight has risen so much from anywhere in the region of 35,000–40,000 to about 120,000 today. Do you think it is the right time for the NCAA to be talking about a possible raise in fees, which, by the way, will be transferred directly to the Nigerian consumers?
Okay, so is it the right time for the airlines to increase fares? Based on the economic environment in Nigeria, the purchasing power of Nigerians, the right time. So taking it from there, basically, the charges has not been reduced, and among the lowest in the region. Between Nigeria and Ghana and other countries, our charges are low. So for you to start an airline, you need to have a business plan. You need to have a proper finance framework to run your business. Ownership structure of business in Nigeria, in airlines, most of them are or a family owned, basically. So we need to have airlines that are stable, that can compete any international airline. But I don't think it's actually wrong for NCAA reviewing their rates. For over 13 years, airlines have moved from 30,000 to 120 in this period. So economical fares, based on all that. So that's right, buying diesel to run its operations. Like the airlines are buying, they want to run their flights. Would the NCAA increase their fares?
All right, so with all the crises going on in the aviation sector right now, and there seems to be no respite to actually talking about increasing fares and whatnot, isn't there any measures that we can take as a government or any for a policy or something that can actually make things a bit easier, both for the operators, the agencies, and of course the passengers as well? Because ultimately the passengers are really what everybody is here for.
Well, the issue started with Jet A1 fuel this year. The key thing actually in Jet A1 in Nigeria, we have 4 refineries that for several years now, because that's going to be the effect of high cost of Jet A1 fuel that's been imported. Things like you said, dollarized. The fuel is being imported foreign currency, come that. So if we're refining fuel, look, charges are going to be in Naira, and it will be international rates, crude oil from Nigeria, refined in Nigeria. That's one way of solving this issue of, and it's not about JD1. It has to do with diesel and all of the derivatives oil. So all of those, that's part of the issue that government needs to deal with.
Dr. Ogochukwu, and finally, before we let you go, the airline operators have come up with a model asking the government to sort of serialize, or if you like, amortize these loans, structure them such that they can be taken out of their operations gradually rather than in one fell swoop, which has the capacity to completely ground operations. What would you say about this suggestion? How else can we solve this problem and move away from the threat to a stable aviation operation?
No, but the airlines that they need to come and sit down and talk with them, MOU, on how they're going to repay this loan, the outstanding funds that they are holding. So it's important for us to sit down and agree where to actually pay off these funds. See, I believe NCAA is open to the fact gradually, but the airlines are tied to those agreements when it's made.
Interesting perspective there. We have been talking with Dr. Frank Ugochukwu, an aviation and IT expert there, providing solutions to the crisis rocking the aviation sector in Nigeria and what we can do to move forward. It's a pleasure talking to you, Dr. Ugochukwu.
Thank you very much. Ugochukwu, not Ugochukwu.
much for that correction and for talking to us at such short notice. Do have a pleasant day ahead. We will now take a short break. When we return, we'll move straight to our second conversation of the day.